Hello, and welcome to Spiel. Sorry if I sound a little bit croaky today. I've got a bit of a sore throat. I hope it doesn't sound too bad. I don't think it does, but hard to tell. You always sound different on the microphone than you do in real life. Oh, in your own head is what I mean. So, sorry if I do. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that we're in somewhere I haven't been before. The Royal Jelly Palace. I don't normally do Royal Jelly Palace, I don't know why, it's one of those things I don't much bother with. I like the Romulus twins more. But, done the Romulus twins, done the Snarblacks, about time I came here and showed this off. I've no idea, like I say, I haven't done it in a while, I've no idea how good I am at it, so remains to be seen how well I do. I could be terrible, sorry if I'm terrible. It's not a tutorial, it's just me talking. We all know this by now, right? Right. So, the eagle-eared amongst you may have, if you watched my video yesterday, did you watch my video yesterday? That's A Valley Without Wind 2, episode 3. If you watched that yesterday, you may have noticed the audio sounded a little bit cooler than before, in that you got to hear more of the music. Because I've been messing around with Audacity, the audio editing software, and found a nice little tool in there called auto ducking. It's something someone on Reddit mentioned to me quite a while back, and that was back when I was having all the PC trouble. I never really got much chance to actually check it out, so I've kind of, now that everything's running okay and I've got bored of doing editing the standard way, I thought, you know, let's spice things up a bit more like I keep doing and learn to do fancy audio. So what that does, and it's really cool, is if I stop talking and the audio, it mixes two tracks together in such a way that, wow, I don't know what happened there. That was terrible. Colossal, laggy, spiky thing. Yes, auto ducking, it mixes two tracks together in such a way that the bits where I'm talking, it reduces the volume, and the bits where I'm not talking, the volume goes up. So if I stop talking for a bit, you get to listen to some of the music instead, so it's not just silence, because I'm terrible at, you know, keeping talking continuously for half an hour. I pause. I'm not that good. So let's listen to the music a bit and see auto ducking at work. See how that works? It's kind of cool. So I'm definitely going to try and use that in the future. It does add a considerable amount of extra editing time, if I'm honest. I've got to mess around with audio files as well as video files. I keep making my workload bigger week on week on week. But as I've said before, you know, I don't mind. It's cool. It makes things more entertaining. It makes things more professional. Nothing wrong with any of that. Talking to my buddy I've mentioned before about him, Sam Riddler of Riddler Gaming, yesterday. I mentioned that to him. We kind of got to talking about what content we have on our channels, and I was saying to him, I kind of like what he does in that he's got much more flexibility in his stuff. If he feels like playing a game, if he finds something cool, he can just do it. I honestly can't. I've rather pigeonholed myself into just doing series now. I've said I'm going to do 5 series and I'm going to do 1 on each of these days. And there's no way for me to get out of any of those series at this stage. Ow! Told you I was going to be terrible at this. There's no way for me to get out of any of those series without me, well, without me finishing the game. Unless I just stop it dead, which is a terrible thing to do. Whereas, you know, his short, beaky preview formats of just looking at things that works well. I mean, he's got one ongoing series, which is Thomas Was Alone. I haven't been watching that because it is a game I want to play, and it's a very narrative-heavy one. I just don't want to spoil it for myself, honestly. So he said he kind of wants to drop that as well, which kind of would only leave him the one-off preview type things. And it's good. I mean, it's the main reason I watch Total Biscuit's channel. And there's a few others like that. It's a good format. I'm going to have to run away here because they're going to corner me in. And yeah, I would like to be able to do that. I mean, occasionally games pop up and they're cool, and I'd like to try them out and play them and show them to you guys. And I can't show them to you guys because I've got 5 games on 5 days and there's no time for any more. You might have spotted I did some more Drunken Robot pornography on Saturday. That's because, well, when else was I going to do it? There's just no other opportunity to do it. And it needed doing. I mean, I was possibly, not certain, I was possibly the first person to show that off on YouTube. And they've updated it, it's a lot better now, and I wanted to show off what's changed about it, and, you know, the whole not being able to do it was annoying. So yeah, threw that in on Saturday. I wouldn't get used to Saturday content. If I feel like throwing bonus stuff up on, cool, it's there, just don't expect it. Right, so I think that's all my preamble done. I've almost finished the first floor in preamble. Oh well. What I kind of actually wanted to talk about was starting your own business, becoming a self-made man, an entrepreneur. This kind of seems to be the in thing these days. God knows, there's enough schemes and campaigns and things the government's trying to get everybody to do it. Presumably some sort of economy boosting scheme. People start businesses, economy gets better. I don't know economics. On top of that, there was a reality TV series based around it recently, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was called. I don't even know how I know about it in the first place. I don't watch TV really at all. So it's a miracle that I even know that such a thing existed. Nonetheless, it did exist. I'm not making this up. There was something about, here, let's have a look at lots of people's ideas, and whichever one's the best, we'll give them a bunch of money to start their own business. I think was the premise. It was Britain's Got Business Talent. I don't know. That was essentially the concept. But that was aimed at the youth. They were looking at like your 18-year-old kind of market, saying, let's look at what all the kids have ideas and see if any of them are viable business opportunities, and if they are, we'll make them into business people. Which is cool. Not much use to anybody else who's got any ideas, and kids don't have good ideas. I don't mean to alienate all my entire audience here, but looking at the adverts, most of them were really, really silly stuff. It's just not viable things. I mean, honestly, most people don't have good ideas, I don't think. Maybe I probably don't, and I think I do. Maybe, yeah, maybe it's just a human thing. Nobody has good ideas except a handful of people who do. There we go. Anyway, yeah, I know a lot of people that have been doing it, or attempting it, or talking about attempting it. My mum has recently quit her job to start running her own jewellery business, which seems to be okay. My dad keeps going on and on and on and on and on about starting up his own brewery, which I don't know how viable that is. There are a lot of those around these days. It seems like everybody's starting up one of them. Who knows? I don't know how serious he is either, like, about that. It might just be sort of pipe dreamy type stuff. I recognise this sort of ties into what I'm always talking about, but it's slightly different. I mean, the YouTube thing would be a nice business to do, but it's not business. God knows there are plenty of people who make their living off of it, but I hesitate to call it an actual business. Mindcrack is not a business. Mindcrack is, God knows, I don't know what you'd call it. I think the Yogscast technically is a company actually, but again, I think it definitely falls under the same banner of that's not really a proper business, is it? Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. So one of my mates has recently started his own business as well. I won't elaborate on that because I don't think he wants to shout it out to the world, but he's kind of told me the other day, oh, I'm starting up my own business. He's got a grant type thing. It's allowed him to start that up, which sounds quite cool. It's a scheme that's been put in place for people either working in education or... Am I planning on making my crowns donation? Yes, I am. Jeez. Thanks for interrupting. Yes, I'm going to pay guild upkeep. Dang it, Alex. What was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. I was saying I need that statue to progress. Oh yeah, the business grants. That's been given to people working in education or in education. He happens to work in education, so that's how he's got it. But it's kind of, again, it's one of those schemes that seems like it's aimed at young people and getting them to... They are the best and brightest, and they are the future, and they will set our country on a better path forward and stuff like that. I don't know. In my experience, the sort of people who are at university, you know, your 18 to 21-year-olds, probably aren't that interested in going forth and starting up their own businesses. Most of them are just interested in where their next pint's coming from. Certainly don't recall ever thinking myself while I was at university that I really want to run my own company when I finish here. I'm not entirely aware that a great many people I knew did either. If they did, they never talked about it. By the same token, I kind of also feel that, because again I'm hanging around with people of the same sort of age bracket, that mid to late 20s kind of seems to be the point where people do decide what they want to do with their life. It's kind of at that point people go, actually, you know, I'd like to do this as a career. And so at that point you make the decision to, well, there are no jobs going in that career, I'd better make my own. That's how that sort of thing happens, I think. I mean, yeah, anyone can get a desk job, but what if you actually want to do something interesting? And unfortunately, by the time you're in your mid to late 20s, they don't just hand you out money, so you gotta actually take a bit of a risk. Which is kind of unfortunate, really. I mean, there are plenty of loans available out there. I've looked in the past, looking at starting my own businesses, like, ooh, I wonder what money I could get to start my own business. And nobody's just giving it away. You can't just get free money these days, which, well, that's a shame. There's plenty of loans, but that's kind of... Yeah, that's okay for starting up your business, but if you fail, it's almost like gambling with your future, really, surely, because then you end up massively in debt if it doesn't come off. And that's a problem in its own right. You've suddenly now you need to find a job and pay off a hell of a lot of money. I'm not quite sure I like that idea. Because, you know, government trying to get businesses to start up. Here, have some money. If you start up, great, economy improved. If it doesn't, no biggie. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that much money. I don't know, maybe this is coming out sounding very entitled, maybe I'm just saying I want free money here because other people are getting free money, but I think that's what politics boils down to in the end. It's why have they got money and I don't? I mean, look at your benefits, look at your immigrants, look at... That is the nub of politics. Why do they have the money that I don't? I'm not going down that route anyway, I'm not going to talk about that, I try not to be political. So I suppose at this stage you might be wanting to know... Ah! Trapped, 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 trapped. Get away from me, all of you. Go away, get out of here. You might be wanting to know what on earth it is I would do if I had a bunch of money to start up my own business. And I've had any number of half-brained schemes over the years that I thought, that would make a great business, why can't I start that up as a business? And it probably wouldn't work. The one thing I do kind of keep coming back to though, is that of running the button mash events as a full-time thing, kind of in a venue. There are other essentially geek venues out there that cater to the kind of audience that we would, and they seem to be doing alright for it themselves. There's one just down the road from us over in Leeds. They seem to be very successful. They've got another branch that's open over in Manchester. Possibly a little bit more world famous is the old Manor Bar over in Brisbane, and they've opened up another one. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's either Sydney or Melbourne, I'm not sure which, and I think which route's easier? Bottom left's easier, isn't it? It's been that long since I've been here. So if you're in Australia, that's good. That's not a lot of use to me though. They were obviously opened by Mr. Yahtzee Croshaw of the Escapist and Zero Punctuation fame, so they got a little bit of fame publicity there. It's like, ooh, look at us, we got a famous person running it. So we don't have that. If I were to start it, we wouldn't have that. I say that like we've already started the business. But that's kind of the thing I'd like to do, yeah, just have a sort of lounge, nightclub, bar type arcade place. Drinks, music and video games. Because everywhere does drinks and music, but most people hate nightclubs. Most people who are into that kind of thing don't like nightclubs. You geeks aren't big on that, in my experience at any rate. But there is a market for a evening venue that caters to the nerdy market. I mean, for me, the obvious place to host something like that is Leeds, and I've already said there's already one there, so I don't know. Maybe I'd have to find... I'd have to move or something, find it... Ow! I'm a klutz, I'm a massive, massive klutz. I'd have to find a niche somewhere in the UK that doesn't have a geek venue to host a geek venue. Oh well, that would just be research to do. If I was that dedicated to doing it, that would be no big obstacle to overcome. No, I missed loot. I can't be bothered with that because I'm rapidly running out of topic, and lag spike again. Woo! Hooray! God dang it all. Now, I thought I'd fix the whole not being able to record properly thing, but what can I say? Spiral Knights doesn't seem to be playing well, which is a problem. So that's twice that's happened today. So yeah, I don't know who. I wouldn't want to enter into a business venture on my own, I don't think. But I don't know who I'd run it with if I were to run something like that. I know plenty of people from the old Button Mash days working in the venue there. Those sort of people have the right enthusiasm and experience for it. But, well, that's the thing. I don't know whether they got the enthusiasm. Would they, would they quit a secure job and join me in running a business? Who knows? I'd like to hope so. I mean, I'd be fantastic if I could run a business with those guys, but I don't know. Maybe not everyone's willing to take quite the same risks. At the same time, it's also, well, that idea particularly is a much grander plan than any of the others I've mentioned so far today. Say, my mum did quit her job to do it, but she's making a tidy amount of money out of it right from the off. And on top of that, well, my dad's still got a full-time job, so he's bringing in income to the household. So she has weeks where maybe she doesn't bring in quite as much money. It's no biggie, really. If my dad were to quit his job and start a brewery, that might be more of a gamble, because obviously then they'd both be relying on not ultra reliable jobs. My mate, as I said, he has started his own business, but he's doing it as sort of a side thing on the side of a full-time job. And his damn heel's gonna have to go. Oh. Get back. There we go. So yeah, even if the business doesn't do fantastically well, and it should do actually, it sounds like a pretty solid plan. Even if it doesn't, you still got a full-time job. Again, no loss. To run an entire venue, nightclub style, I imagine that takes a full-time out. Well, I mean, even if you're not working, even if you're only open on evenings, there's probably a lot of marketing, promotion, and there's a lot goes on behind the scenes during the day. I'm absolutely certain of it. You can't just open on a night and bam, that's your job. It would be a full-time thing. I still feel like it's something I would like to have a go. I mean, the nub of the matter is I detest my day job, and I would very much like to do something I enjoyed, and I think that doing something for myself sounds like something I would enjoy. Right, I have no idea how easy this is with one of these things, but I suspect it can't be too hard. These things are spawning the healers, aren't they? Oh. So I guess I need to take these guys out to stop him healing. I think for the most part this fight is generally just supposed to be sort of tank and spank, really. Just nuke him down. But he gets so much healing from these little guys. They do seem to keep changing this fight. Oh yes, phase 1 done. Good. They do seem to keep changing the fight. I mean, I'm sure the little ones... Ow! I'm sure the little ones grouped up more and were really easy to wipe out before. Now they're all over the place and you... Ow! Properly got to put some work in to get them down. Damn it all! Oh! Oh my... I don't know this fight, I just don't. There we go. I can't figure out a solid strategy to it, it's just frantically smash the guy until he drops. Which is my least favourite type of fight. If I can figure out a nice strategy to it, it's fun, but Royal Jelly Palace is just not fun for me. Romulus Twins, the entire level is a lot of sneaky dodge missile strategy involved, and if you know what you're doing, no problem. And then the fights, there's a lot of strategy involved in that. It's a good fight. Vanaduke, there's a fair degree of skill involved. Snarlax is a small degree of skill, but not a lot. It's just an introductory boss fight, isn't it? Oh well. Now, not a fan of Royal Jelly Palace, but there you go, you've seen me do it. And very badly. Anyway, been over that, not a tutorial. Not a tutorial. So, that'll do it for this week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and favourite it if you enjoyed the video. And subscribe if you want to see more of it, because I do videos 5 days a week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.